We have an update. Well, not really an update, but kind of an interesting news story from behind the scenes of TRON Ares and recent comments from Jeff Bridges about his involvement in the production and his experience working with Jared Leto. This is an article from The Hollywood Reporter covering it. Jared Leto went method on set of TRON Ares while playing Big Rock Star, says co-star Jeff Bridges. During an appearance on SiriusXM's Literally with Rob Lowe, the veteran actor opened up on his experience rejoining the TRON franchise opposite Leto and how he navigated his method ways. I always think the concept of method acting is kind of strange to me, and we've heard about some experiences of how he was during the production of Suicide Squad. I don't really get the process of that because, I always just think of actors as, well, they're pulling from their own real life experiences in order to come from a place of authenticity when it comes to their performance, because obviously they're playing a role and experiencing a storyline or portraying a role that they may have no or zero thing to pull from, especially from a sci-fi or fantasy role. I always think that that's a strange kind of process for an actor to have. Like, they just inhabit a role and they have to stay in it in order for them to portray the character. This article covers Jeff Bridges' comments, so that's great that Jeff Bridges is returning, and hopefully we'll get to hear more about that coming up. So Jared Leto's method acting ways on everything from Suicide Squad to Morbius have generated so much attention that when Jeff Bridges reported for work on TRON Ares, he didn't quite know what to expect. And this is a quote from Bridges saying, "I hadn't met him before. I'm saying, what's it going to be like?" Because he was also a producer of the show, big fan of the original, working on it for 10 years. I came in, and you know how each set has a different vibe? There was an interesting vibe on this. I said, "How's Jared? How's he working?" "He's all right. We call him Ares, so he goes by his name." And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." If you're unaware, Leto was playing Ares, the title character, a computer program sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission to introduce artificial intelligence beings to humans. I've never heard his character described as that. I remember from D23, Leto was talking about his character, and he said that he wanted to make the real world his own permanently. That's the latest information about his character, direct from Leto's mouth. And also, Ares is the master control of the Dillinger grid. So that was another detail. And we saw it before. You could see the word Dillinger on the back of Ares' disc. It's confirmed that he was connected to Dillinger. But the subject of method acting came up as Lowe detailed what he's like on set and how it's similar to Bridges' approach. So Lowe said, "You, I know, are like me, of the school of actor where we show up and do it. There's not a lot of artifice around the edges. We've done whatever work we need to do. We're doing it in the quiet of our own privacy, so I can go and be Rob and we can talk about the Lakers or whatever. And they can say 5 minutes and we come to the set and we do it. And then when they cut, we go, 'Hey, I went to a great Mexican restaurant last night,'" he explained. And then there's Jared Leto, who, when Jared played the Joker, I have a friend who played his best friend, and he was Mr. J the whole time. And I remember too, there was comments on the set of Doom Part 2 where people were so kind of taken aback. Stephen McKinley Henderson, when he was working with Austin Butler, when they did have their scenes together, he would comment that he would be so nice and so friendly and so accommodating to him because he had recently suffered a kind of medical scare. When the director said action or whatever, then he went into full-on villain mode and was pretty scary and intimidating. I think there were several actors that appreciated that, obviously, especially when you're inhabiting a villainous role, that you can kind of separate that out when the director says cut to kind of realize where you are, especially if you plan to interact with the people around you. So I'm sure they appreciated that he wasn't just Fade Rotha all the time. When it comes to Ares, with what I've seen, he doesn't seem like he's such a scary character. So I don't think it would be such a weird thing for people on set. But Bridges responds to this saying, "Both ways of doing it can work beautifully, though when he showed up on TRON Ares, he wasn't sure how to play it. His name was Ares in the show, and I ended up going, 'Hey, Air, what's happening, man?' And I say, 'Is it okay if I call you Air?' And he says, 'Yeah, sure you can.' Then we got loose, and it was just a wonderful, we jammed, The headline makes it sound kind of weirder than it seems like in actuality. He was the one that said, 'Is it okay if I call you Air?' And Leto seems like he was chill and fine with it and not kind of weird. They jammed on set. And this is interesting too because it confirms that Jeff Bridges interacts with Ares, with Jared Leto's master control of the Dillinger Grid program. So they're going to have scenes together. So that's confirmed. I wonder how their dynamic would be. And this also kind of gets the imagination going when it comes to the return of Kevin Flynn. What's going on with that, and how is he going to interact with Ares? Bridges continued, he nodded to the music in the film, prompting Lowe to confirm that Leto's character is also a rock star. Big rock star, man, he confirmed. I won't tell you because we get into some music stuff in the show, and it's quite good. He's wonderful in the part, though, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. So we got some good, optimistic remarks from Jeff Bridges in regards to Jared Leto's turn as Ares, and it seems that they had a good working relationship on set as well. I think it's weird that the crew told Jeff Bridges he goes by Ares, just so you know, and Bridges is all like, okay, cool, all right. It sounds like everyone else was kind of like preparing Jeff Bridges and saying, okay, well, we call him Ares, you got to call him that. And I don't know, he just went up to him like normal and introduced himself. And it seems that they had a good relationship on and off the set, or at least, you know, when they were filming and then not filming, that everything was jamming well. And yeah, he says he's wonderful in the part. So that's good. I'm glad that things were jamming and that Jeff Bridges is a part of it. What Jeff Bridges' role in this will be is kind of what I want to hear more about, hopefully soon, but I think they're keeping all that information close to the vest. I'm hoping to hear more about Bruce Boxleitner's return, and I'm optimistic that this is kind of paving the way for his epic return as Tron, but that's just my speculation. Currently, Tron Ares is due for release on October 10th, 2025. Jeff Bridges' comments on the recent D23 event, he teased about what the story was about, what's to come, and he said technology and AI is omnipresent in our lives. What a perfect time to revisit this world, or have this world visit us, because that's what happens in this movie. Very exciting. I'm hopeful, and I'm glad that Jeff Bridges enjoyed his time in returning to Tron, returning to this franchise.